Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla stock, let's go over the market, let's figure out what is happening and what we can expect moving into the rest of the week. Really, tomorrow we have our final data print I think it's in the morning once again. So we'll see how that affects the market. But I think based on how the market looks and closes by this end of the week, so by Friday, should be pretty telling, including Tesla. So all that being said and done, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And of course, my membership section on YouTube is live. That link is down below. I have two tiers now, a $2.99 per month tier, right? $2.99 per month tier. You can access to all my intraday thoughts, post updates, etc. on Tesla and sometimes just the market really in general. And I also have a $4.99 tier, which is all the above. Plus, you also get my NVIDIA updates as well daily. So link is below if you're interested. Love to have you there. But jumping into a Tesla closing the day, down just about 3% on the day, closing at 201.33, which unfortunately compared to the market is obviously going to be a pretty decent underperformance. Kind of the story lately with Tesla, isn't it? Now, what does this mean moving forward, right? Is this good? Is this bad? Is Tesla bullish? Is Tesla bearish? What is going on with Tesla? Well, honestly, as of right now, I would actually make the argument that Tesla is looking potentially bullish. And I say the word potentially for a reason. There's still more work to be done, but we are setting up what could be a bullish reversal. Let me explain. So yesterday, right? What happened yesterday? Well, we talked about yesterday very, very briefly, right? For a while, we were pretty much in this consolidation right here, kind of getting tighter and tighter and whatnot until ultimately yesterday, I talked about my levels. We ended up breaking past above it, pretty much ran up right to this gap fill, right to this trend line and whatnot, right? Pretty much right above the 200-day moving average. And today we are closing at pretty much right around actually just ever so slightly below the 200-day moving average. But the point is we had that nice breakout yesterday. And what did I say yesterday is one of the two options based on how CPI reacts. We either go to 215 or we most likely come down to retest that breakout. That's exactly what happened today. We came down to almost perfection. There was two levels I mentioned that we can come down for a retest. The first of which was pretty much around 203, 204. We stopped there ever so briefly, but ultimately we came down for the true retest of this consolidation breakout, which was of course this green line right here. You can see in the 15-minute chart. You can also see it pretty easily here on the 1-hour chart. Came right down almost to absolute perfection as a retest, set a bullish daily, 1 hour or hourly hammered candle off of it. And so far, so good. So far, so good. So essentially the way I look at it is honestly pretty damn simple, right? Sometimes I like to make things as simple as possible. The more complicated it is, the more probably wrong it is in all honesty. But moving forward, the way I look at it on at least the 1-hour chart for now, and really just in general for Tesla is going to be as follows. As long as Tesla, pretty much in my opinion, does not break below this green trend line and ideally holds above about $198 per share, and we don't close below and start, showing 198-ish as a resistance once again, as long as that doesn't happen and we pretty much generally maintain above 198 roughly, which is pretty much very damn close to the low of the day. I think the low of the day was about 198.7 roughly. It's good news. I think Tesla's great. I think all it did was come back for this nice, beautiful retest, and so far, so good, right? I'm not too unhappy about the way it looks. Like I said yesterday, I did exit half of my bullish position, not at the top, but pretty close to the top, so I'm not too unhappy about that. Obviously, the half of bullish position I wrote down all the way, but I added actually pretty heavily right on this retest with, again, the caveat, the fact that we are holding 198, right? That's important to me, right? As long as we hold above 198, we're good. Now, obviously, let's talk about what if we don't. Let's say we do go below 198. We turn it back into a resistance and things are looking, well, a little bit more concerning for the bulls and less concerning for the bears, right? Well, pretty much what I would see there is the fact that this was arguably a false breakout. We're still very much in the downward channel. Worst case scenario, this is the absolute, by far, market pretty much crashes, I would say. Tesla comes down pretty aggressively to pretty much the low to mid 170s, right? I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, it's technically possible. I just wouldn't count on it yet. But if we do lose 198, at the very least, I expect us to come down to about 192. Losing 192, I expect us to come down to this massive, massive volume profile. If I zoom out, you can see here, pretty much sitting around the mid to low 180s, potentially even entering, like I said, that low 170s. I think that is a real possibility. If we start losing 198, that would start giving me the hint that, oh no, this actually may be a reality. Losing 192, that's most likely a reality. That's the way I look at it, and that's the way I am personally playing it. We'll see how the market reacts tomorrow off of the data and how it reacts and closes the week. But again, that's just kind of getting ahead of ourselves, right? For all we know, that may never happen. Why? Because, again, let's take a look at the daily now very quickly, right? You can see here, we zoom in on this little price action that we've been in for the past, week and a half-ish or so right here, right? We had the massive drawdown, came up to this general level, right? We had that obviously market crash situation here. But then we pretty much went sideways. Consolidated, got tighter and tighter and tighter, right? You can kind of almost like see like this, right? Beautiful, right? Tighter, tighter, tighter. And then we broke out. Beautiful stuff. And now, like I said before, we pretty much are just coming back to retest that range, right? Like I said before many times, whenever you get a breakout or a breakdown, it's very common to come back at some point or another. Usually sometimes it's pretty fast, sometimes it takes a bit longer, but ultimately to come back and retest that general breakout level, that's exactly what we did today. Honestly, almost to perfection. Maybe a little too perfect, honestly. Could still be a little bit of a concern, but again, as long as we pretty much hold this retest like I just mentioned, which looks pretty much like this, I think we're all good to go. Now, if it does hold, and let's say Tesla does turn this area, it's a bullish breakout, bullish retest, and into a continuation. Where do I see Tesla moving next? Well, like I said, the main level I am personally still eyeballing for Tesla is going to be pretty simply put about that 215 area. Remember how I said this band and the 23-day moving average, which is essentially this white line in between all these bands, right? Remember that? Remember how yesterday I said it was around 217, but I expected to pretty much meet us somewhere around 215? Well, that's a possibility, right? I mean, not a possibility. It's literally happening, I meant to say, right? Where now it's sitting at pretty much about 216 and a half roughly. So it's already making its way down. And I do expect Tesla at some point or another, could even be this week, honestly, to retest that level once again, that 215 range. The good thing about that is if we do test this 215 range, at least from my perspective, where some people have their top of this trend line or this, I guess, downward channel a little bit different than me, where some people have it, for instance, like this, right? They have it like this. But regardless, right, if we come up to 215, at least from my perspective and based on how I have the downward channel right now, which I think is more valid, more candles are touching, and it's not actually invalidating any of the candles because we never closed above it. Breaking out and going to 215 would be a breakout of this downward channel, which again is obviously bullish, but with an asterisk. And the asterisk is this, right? A lot of people think that whenever you break out of these downward channels or bull flags, you pretty much have to instantly rock it up, right? That's not the case. Usually just breaking out of a downward channel or even a bull flag, which essentially is a downward channel technically, all it means is the fact that you're no longer trending downwards, right? It doesn't mean you have to just rock it up the day or two after. You can, I'm not saying you cannot, but it doesn't mean it has to happen. All it means is the fact that you are no longer trending down. That's still a good sign. That's still technically bullish, right? But you don't have to rock it up right away. So we could just, for instance, come back up. We can come back up to 215 over here, and then we can just kind of go sideways. Maybe come back down to about 205, come back to 250. We can also just go sideways for a bit here. Like, you don't have to instantly break out and be like, oh, we broke out, time to go to 300. No, that's just not how it works, right? It's not guaranteed. It can, but it's not. One thing doesn't lead to another. For sure, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Now, the other things I want to talk about here very quickly, back to the 1 hour chart quickly, are my main indicators down here right now. Again, some people might look at this and be like, why the hell do you have so many indicators? But, most of them are, just kind of general sentiment and market trend, in my opinion, right? You don't really look at them like ridiculously often. But with that being said, the MACD is unfortunately for the bearish. But again, the MACD in the 1 hour, it's great, but don't care too much about it. Personally, stochastic is neutral. Don't care about stochastic. What I do care about are these two, actually a lot more. What I see now is the fact that we're still technically bearish, right? We are still technically bearish on the 1 hour chart. The stochastic is cross bearish. The BX trender is bearish. But the thing I like here is the fact that the stochastic went from overbought territory, which I was talking to my members about this morning. If I can find it somewhere in the morning, I talked about how, let me see, where is the morning posts? There's a lot of posts today, guys. I'm telling you, I post a lot sometimes, so make sure you join, right? But you can see that was NVIDIA, Tesla here, I think it was, right? So here, Tesla below 205.5-ish would signal a weak day to me, and we most likely head to around 202/199 6 hours ago. And what do? We pretty much went exactly there. And you can see this was posted pretty much as the market opened. And what happened off of that on the 1 hour chart? I posted it somewhere around here. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere. I posted somewhere saying how the 1 hour chart, here we go. 1 hour stochastic bearish crossover in overbought territory. Not the time to be a hero, in my opinion. Still expect 201 to 198 even today, 6 hours ago. As long as that holds, I think Tesla can still see a run up to about 215 on the second half of August. I still believe that. And this is exactly what I posted to my members. And obviously, well, they're clearly benefiting off of that pretty substantially. And you can see this is what it looked like in the morning. Stochastic, bam, with that bearish crossover, and it was ready to trend downwards. BX trender started to set lower highs. The downtrend began. And what happened? Well, you can see the fruition now. Way down below, stochastic is now pretty much entering oversold territories. Still bearish, but once we get that bullish flip, I think we head to 215 personally. And the BX trender will also most likely start flipping bullish once that happens as well. But that's just the kind of information I try to provide, right? So just keep that in mind, right? But again, same idea, but moving to the daily chart, right? Similar idea, right? MACD curling, which is looking pretty good. I like the way the MACD is looking. I like the way it's, getting ready to curl, which is good. Now we just need a crossover in the daily. That would be bullish. Stochastic, again, that's the rest stochastic. RSI, don't really care about it right now. Again, I usually use it for extreme situations. Stochastic is bullish on the daily still. That's great news. Even though we went down 3% today, actually we were even down almost 4%. It showed very little signs of, faltering, which is great. The momentum is clearly building, so we're having a bit of a divergence, in my opinion, a little bit, right? We're coming downwards, but the stochastic is still making its way back up. You can see the BX trender making higher lows. It's starting to get that little green tape over here, right? The green line showcasing that, there is some bullish sentiment rolling in despite this weakness today. That's a good sign. So there is bullish sentiment coming in on this weakness, which is what I like to see. And that's why I'm feeling pretty good about it. Now, obviously, the main caveat is, well, do we hold above 198 or not? If we lose 198, I think this all goes into the dumpster. And I think we, at the very least, come down to 192, if not potentially down to about the 180s, maybe even 170s, right? But as long as we're above it, I'm bullish and I'm feeling good. And I think Tesla has a real shot of reaching 215. Honestly, could be even as early as this week, but probably at least next week, in my opinion, is my guess as of right now. So that's the main thing I'm looking at. Options flow in general, Tesla, nothing really too crazy in the sold options, right? In terms of bought options, Tesla's actually nowhere to be. Actually, it's the most bearish one today, 14 million bearish confirmed flow. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, in terms of options flow, I mean, we had a 500,000 call, right, for November 15th, 295 strike. That's actually pretty damn bullish, right? It's a decent amount of premium, very out of the money. And it's not that far out. It's only like, what, 2 months roughly, right? About, well, yeah, 3 months rather out. Not that far out for something that's this far out of the money for this much premium. So that's a little bit of eyebrow raising. That's pretty bullish. But ultimately, pretty slow day, in my opinion, for Tesla stock today in terms of options flow. So I didn't pay attention too much to it. But yeah, that's the main thing I'm looking at. So hopefully you found this useful. If you find this kind of information useful, don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you check out the membership section. Love to have you there as well. This is the kind of information I try to provide on a daily basis. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next update. Until then, peace.